This NASCAR news and rule changes edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by KUTT. KUTT is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to KUTT.com. That's KUTT.com and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And we're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. 15% off of everything when you use the promo code PLAYOFF.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
And boy, do we have racing things to talk about. It is, of course, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. First and foremost, Cody, might I say, if you are watching on YouTube, which we probably lead with this all the time, but at this point, you're getting used to it. Love the lid, my friend. Absolutely love what you're digging right there.
Fresh out of the SGP store, merch store. Love it. Also got the hoodie.
Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful.
It's yes, absolutely beautiful. Love both of them. They came in the mail today. You can get your stuff still on sale, I believe, through the end of the month. The promo code PLAYOFFs, 15% off. It's a nice little discount for you over there. Got some pretty cool stuff. I got my Refs or Terrorist shirt as well. Very excited for that. That seems to come in handy quite often. Went to a college basketball game last night. Went up to a Creighton game up in Omaha. And, man, the referees were just not just against, we were rooting for Creighton, but against both teams. They were just bad the whole time. And I was like, gosh, where's my Mr. Terrorist shirt? I could have used this tonight.
We came the next day. That's how that goes. John Little in the chat. What's going on? What's up, John? Good to see you. Good to see everybody that's out there right now watching live on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to catch up on this is kind of a free flowing show. We don't really have any set topics on this one. There has been this is how you know we're getting close to the season, Rod. A shit ton of news coming out the last couple of days. Just a ton of rules getting updated and things being changed. And that's how you know we're getting close. It's Wednesday. Next Saturday, there's going to be NASCAR Cup Series cars on the track. It's beautiful. So if you got any questions leading up to the season, drop them in the chat. We're answering stuff. Just kind of a free flow episode here. So kind of excited to just sit back and chill a little bit.
Hey, and if you're really desperate for stuff to watch this weekend, for racing to watch, IMSA is going to be at Daytona this weekend. So that's something for you to watch.
Yeah, that's what 24 hours of Daytona or whatever. So
24, yeah, Rolex 24 at Daytona. That's gonna.
I wish not seen any betting. If you've seen betting odds on that, hit us up.
Yeah, please.
We could have a show tomorrow, but I've not seen anything anywhere, so I'll have to dig around a little more and see if there's anything available anywhere.
I may have to use my super sleuthing skills to try to get some odds on that too. I have friends who know how to get around and find us odds for stuff. So that'd be interesting if you can actually bet on it. As I look though at the website at the NASCAR's website at all the cars on the track at Daytona for IMSA, it is such like it's like the car junkie's dream. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking at all different kinds of models and all different makes and spoilers. And I mean, it's a beautiful site. And I think I'm going to watch this. I'm going to tape it first of all, because, or at least the broadcast of it, because obviously there's football, but I want to be able to appreciate this and not be distracted because this looks like a lot of fun. I've never watched an IMSA race. So I think I want to go down that rabbit hole.
I can't say I have either, but it's racing, so why not?
Listen, if I'm watching Formula E at this point, you know that I'm a junkie. So, yeah, I think I'm going to check this out as well.
I love it.
All right. Well, there is plenty of news to get to, not the least of which I guess we could probably start with this qualifying change, because I feel like that sort of came out of, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but it definitely hit the world like a ton of bricks yesterday. I know we kind of broke it with Ryan and kind of glossed over it, but I knew we were going to get back to it hard today. So obviously, if you haven't heard, the qualifying that has taken place with the groups, right, that'll still continue. But instead of filling 11 through the rest of the field, sort of the way they've been doing it, now they're going to be using these groups to fill the inside and the outside rows of, and look at Cody, I feel like it's almost like a heat race type of a situation, right? The same type of thing, the same type of mentality, right? You're using these different groups and the way they qualify to fill the rows. It's just not necessarily a heat race. It's just the two groups going like they'd normally do, but you're taking the results and filling out the rest of the field with it. So I don't hate it. I'll just be interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of mixing like the duels with the qualifying type of thing, right? Because you have the duels at Daytona leading up to the 500, and basically the first race sets the inside, the second race sets the outside, and so I think they're kind of just trying to mix that up. Unnecessary, maybe, would be one way to put it, because I think it is a little bit, and it's another one of these things where it's like, is this something we really need to implement? But on the other hand, I get what they're doing. So, you have the two different groups, and how many times have we seen it where, the sun pops out or the sun goes away or the track changes between the two groups. And so it could punish you in the past because of that. And some people have made the argument at tracks like Martinsville, the inside has just got such a massive advantage that are you getting screwed by being in the second group? Well, if you are one of the top 10 fastest, it's not going to matter which group you were in, because you'll still have your opportunity to start on the inside. So I think that's not necessarily the best argument. But yeah, basically it's going to be the same as last year, as far as they'll have the two groups, the top 5 from each group, move on to the round of 10. They'll go again. They'll set the top 10 that way. And then you go back and all, your 6th on back from Group A will line up the inside. 6th on back from Group B will line up the outside. So yeah, again, I don't know. Is it necessary completely? I don't know. But and again, this will be so this will start after the first 2 races of the season. Daytona is obviously going to stay the same way as it has. They'll qualify. The guys set on the front row will be locked into the front row, and then everything else is set via the duels. And then super speedways in general, there won't be groups during the qualifying procedures. Just the 2 rounds with the 10 fastest drivers. They're still going to keep it that way. So the first 2 weeks of the season, we're not going to see this anyways. Daytona and Atlanta. And then that'll start, I believe Las Vegas is the 3rd race. So they'll still continue to determine the groups by the performance metric, which is a lot of different numbers and thrown into some big calculator and they figure it out that way.
So my question's a couple of fold. One, who is complaining about this? And two, why? I mean, I know that it's not perfect. I know that the whole system is never going to be perfect. Like, there were people complaining about the old school just go out and run the fastest lap type qualifying type thing. And so that's why they changed it to this group, and that's why all this stuff's going on. But why, Cody? I don't understand why you're going to complain about this now.
Rod, have you ever been on the clock somewhere or involved in a group somewhere and it's like you don't really have anything to do, but you got to bring something back, right? And so it's like, hey, we expect you to have a rule change, and you're sitting there and you're like what? So you're like, I got an idea. This is kind of already exists anyways. We're just gonna tweak it and throw this out there. I think that's what happened. And yeah, we're just paying someone to come up with stupid ideas.
They're like, what is the least offensive thing we can change that would cause the most head scratching amongst everybody? It's just like, this feels like the worst thing to change because it doesn't need to change, which is probably why it ended up changing. So I think I agree with you on that one. I didn't hear anybody complain last year about it. Did you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why are we still doing this group thing? I don't really understand that either. Like, can we just I don't know. What was wrong with I don't want to be I hate being the old school guy that's like, just bring it back to how it was, but like, what was wrong with just running 2 laps and being the fastest car? That's how you set the lap. I don't understand why we ever had to go away from that. Now it seems like we're just getting even fancier for absolutely no reason, but hey, whatever. Next year you won't even be able to find qualifying on TV hardly. You'll have to look for it in the streaming services. So whatever. Interesting, but is what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely not really all that concerned. I'll just see how it plays out, and it's not going to really set our cards ablaze. So we'll just.
But it is almost just insignificant. Like, it's not really going to change anything anyway. So it's, again, one of those stupid things, but it's not like it's fucking something up. I don't really think. Old Fashioned Football in the chat, bros. What's up? Hey Miranda, how are you doing? Tell Justin I said hi.
I love it. All right, we'll come back and we'll talk some more about the happenings. A lot of stuff going on in the Xfinity and Truck Series as well. We'll talk about that. But first, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. You want NFL, you want NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football, plus NASCAR, F1, all up on there as well. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Plus, you can win 100x with some spicy plays. I've been on it all week, continue to be on it. George Kittle's reception numbers. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes. I don't care what the number is. Take the higher on it, even if it's like 10, which I know it's not that high right now, but 4, 5, 6, whatever it goes up to, take the higher than on it because George Kittle is going to go crazy, bonkers in this game. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash. Over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog's going to double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. I'm debating on where I'm going to watch that 49er game. There's 2 schools of thought going on in my head right now. One, I'm going to hunker down in a bunker to just shut the rest of the world out so nothing happens around me. And then the second one is around a lot of people. So that way, if I am miserable, misery loves company, right? So we'll do that.
I think the biggest question, Rod, is where did you watch last week when they won? Because if you're superstitious, you got to stay in the same spot, right?
I can't.
Make sure you have the same underwear on, all the stuff.
I haven't taken those off, so I think we're good. I think that's where we're at there. Justin says, "I'm so glad they're changing the rule, whatever the rule is." And then
I appreciate Justin hanging out in the chat, even though he
right?
doesn't necessarily pay attention.
and also, Justin, no show promoting your own show. No promo code OFFSG.
You can use our promo code to go buy Old Fashioned Football gear, and it all works out.
There you go. Ryan Helms in the thing. What's up, goofballs? Not much.
Hey Ryan, how's it going? Appreciate you joining us. Going back to Underdog too, just a moment. I've got a couple of Underdog articles coming out for sportsgamblingpodcast.com this week. So selfish plug later this week. Check them out. I'll have one tailored toward the offensive side of things and one tailored towards the defensive side of things. I've been doing the defensive one for a few weeks, but got asked to do the offensive one this week as well. So excited for that God, there's only 3 football games left, Rod. It's bittersweet because obviously we love football so much, but also the end of football means the beginning of racing, which is also a blessing.
Well, again, I'm not gonna sit here and promote it on this, but football is not over. I always hate that.
I
always hate that.
I apologize.
No,
real football is almost over.
And woof, Cody.
Just
fine.
kidding, Rod.
All
just kidding. Check out Rod's other shows. He's got what's the new show you're doing? Plug the new show.
Well, look, fine. I'm doing AFL, so we're covering the Arena Football League. I definitely love that. So check out my Twitter for where to find that. Pretty excited about that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Plus, I still follow my indoor football. The Bay Area Panthers are champions of the Indoor Football League coming out of last year. Unfortunately, I stopped the podcast, but definitely still follow the team, so I was pretty happy about that.
That's awesome. Old Fashioned Football says, wow, I'm sure that's to my comment that real football's over because Justin, of course, big spring league guy, I'm just kidding, Justin. I love those things too. And and I was mostly targeting that comment at you.
Love it. All right, let's get back on to some NASCAR.
Yes.
We do.
I did want to.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So in this whole thing that NASCAR had released with the qualifying thing, they did throw out a couple of other notes as well. They have figured out a major towing overhaul. Now they're only going to use this in qualifying for starters, I think, to kind of see how it goes. But obviously, we had the famous Joey Logano just absolutely screaming at the guys on on the crew while they're waiting as he's got all these flat tires. There's been a lot of issues getting this car towed back, so they've developed a thing where they're able to tow the car back at 70 miles an hour, basically. So they have like a quick a truck that can go out there, basically pick it up, take it back at 70 miles an hour to hopefully safely but quickly do the tires. So it'll be interesting to kind of see when we get our first look at that in qualifying how it goes, and if eventually they are able to take that on into the racing. Wet weather package is going to return and basically remain all the same. I believe nothing's going to change with that. And then that was kind of the main thing that they had put out with in addition to that.
I feel like we never got a good run at that wet weather package. I feel like it wasn't implemented correctly, and we never really got to see the full potential of it.
Like in the Truck Series, I think we saw it more because there was a couple of times, like Martinsville, we used it quite a bit. But there wasn't really anywhere else where it ended up working. We had some rain outs, of course, right? And again, it's tricky because it's not a complete just downpour package either. It's got to be on the certain tracks. We'll see. I mean, you'd probably rather them not use it just because you'd like things not to have that extra wrench thrown into it. But I'm sure that as much as NASCAR competes with the weather, which just seems to follow NASCAR around, we might get a few more cracks at it this year.
Yeah. And really, to me, I guess what happened is I got spoiled by F1 just watching those guys absolutely tear ass around in fully drenching themselves weather. Like, and that's open cab too. That's not like, sitting in there in their nice little enclosed environments. They're straight up like right there in the rain getting poured on. So
that's it's crazy.
All right, so we got some Xfinity news and some truck news where we talk about the Dash for Cash, right? That's the Xfinity race where there are no anybody else allowed other than people that are in this, right? So you can't have a Cup Series guy come in and race in this race. More often than not, it's even truck drivers, right? That the ones that don't really run full time aren't really eligible for this. This is mainly for the points eligible guys. They have announced their schedule. It will be April 6th at Martinsville, April 13th at Texas, April 20th at Talladega, and April 27th at Dover. Those will be the 4 Dash for Cash races. Not sure this does much to us as far as our betting is concerned, but at least we know as we start to build out our cards, what to look forward to as far as which races are going to strictly be that no one else gets to enter. So, you have guys like, well, Denny really doesn't run Xfinity down there, but like at Martinsville, like maybe Ty Gibbs can't come down and race that one, right? And he's been good at Martinsville a lot too. So that type of
like John Hunter will be a guy that'll be highlighted because he's going to be running a decent schedule in Xfinity, but since he'll be running for points in the Cup Series, won't be allowed to come to those races. So that's probably going to be your Eric Almirola races in that car. So obviously that's going to help them determine that schedule. And we talk about it when we get to those races and how there isn't the Cup Series regulars. And those might be the races, even the Corey Himes and stuff will come up from the Truck Series because they're allowed to come up, just not allowed to go down. So, it doesn't really impact us at this moment. But obviously, as we get into those races, it'll change things. The odds are generally lower for those races among the favorites because you don't have the quote-unquote ringers down in there from the Cup Series. So that will adjust what the odds look like, but it's also going to adjust what type of picks are available to us, open up that top 5 a little bit more for some of the little bit of longer shots, make the head-to-heads a little more juicy and interesting, not having the Cup guys mixed in there. So always fun to have the opportunity to bet without any of the Cup guys in there. I'm a big proponent of having the Cup guys in Xfinity, having them in the Truck Series. I always like to see them, but it's nice to have those couple races too that are marked off where you don't have them.
Yeah, John Hunter was the winner of one of the Dash for Cash races. He won at Martinsville, and then Jeb Burton won at Talladega last year. Ryan Truex won at Dover last year for another one as well. So, and Justin Allgaier ended up winning at Richmond for one of those Dash for Cashes. So again, I mean, Allgaier will be back. Burton may not, but again, that's a super speedway, so that's sort of an X factor right there. And then Ryan Truex, we know, was so fast all season long. Does he get another crack? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, these are obviously
he's going to be part-time with Gibbs again. Yeah. So he'll have some races, whether it's one of these races or not, I haven't seen, but
yeah. So again, I mean, this is just one of those things where as we start to look forward to next season and as we start looking at the races ahead, exactly what we're up against. And the same with the truck, right? The truck's got their triple truck. I can't even say it. That's how triple truck challenge. That's like triple chocolate meltdown or something, whatever. Can't say that. So they got 3 races where it's them fighting for a paycheck at the end of it. And those will be at Charlotte, at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and at Nashville. So May 24th at Charlotte, June 1st at the Gateway, and then June 28th at the Nashville Super Speedway. So once again, I mean, it doesn't really mean much as far as just a lot of things going on, but it does help us shape our card.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, who actually won last year? We had, let's see.
Ben Rhodes won at Charlotte, Grand Enfinger at Gateway, and Carson Hocevar at Nashville.
It's you. That is absolutely correct. So, all right, that is the Triple Truck Challenge, and that is the Xfinity Dash for Cash. Again, just keeping an eye out, just kind of getting yourself primed for April. I know it's a long way away, but before we know it, we'll be talking about April, and we're talking about these races for sure. And the fact that they're all pretty close together also means that, again, these are all races that'll happen within each other, which means that that's going to be a long stretch where there's no Cup guys coming down. So that's pretty significant as well.
And that's kind of our peek ahead, right? You get that early in the season. And then, of course, in the playoffs, they're not allowed either. So kind of your look there.
Indeed. All right, come back with more. But let me tell you about KUTT. KUTT is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting's new, and it's a better way to bet. I'm telling you right now, you can bet directly against your friends or other users on sports, politics, pop culture. If it's got a verifiable outcome, you can place a bet on it with your friends. Plus, it's got tons of fun social features that'll give it the feel of a betting social network. KUTT offers the lowest VIG. You get fully customizable odds, which means you can create your own bets. Like I said, it doesn't even matter what it is, as long as you can verify the outcomes. You and your buddy sitting there at the bar stool trying to talk about how much each other knows. Prove it. Don't just talk about it. Prove it. Plus, KUTT handles all of the payment side of things, so you don't have to worry about chasing your buddy down when you win their cash, because I'm confident that you're smart enough to be able to do exactly that. Tons of social features. Got group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, fan groups, and more. Also rewards. Get cash back every single time you bet against your friends or other users. Reminder that KUTT is the peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and legal in 40 states. Head to KUTT.com. That's KUTT.com. Use code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. You're going to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. You saw Cody with his beautiful new Racing Gambling Podcast hat and his amazing Racing Gambling Podcast hoodie. You can wear yours too as well. Pick those up at the merch store, and just between you, me, and everybody else in the entire industry. But let's just keep this a secret between us. If you use the promo code playoffs, you're going to get 50% off all items. Don't make it a secret. Tell everybody. You can tell I haven't researched this ad read at all. I'm just telling you, buy merch. And when you buy merch, buy our merch. And when you buy our merch, please tell them that you are buying it because we told you to do so. And then I'm going to save you some money by using the promo code playoffs. So do all that great stuff. We'll love you forever. Look at Cody's beautiful mug and beautiful hat and be like Cody. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not much of a merch model, but that's what you get.
You say that, but you are.
Kevin S. with a great point in the chat. They should award one playoff point for winning these little preseason races. Something small to make it matter. Could not agree with you more. Whether it's I think playoff point is what you should do. Playoff point or even if it's 10 bonus regular season points, that doesn't seem to matter as much. I think playoff point is perfect. There should be a playoff point for winning the Coliseum. There should be one for each of the dual races, and there should be one for the All-Star race. Yes, could not agree with you more, Kevin S. Hopefully that's something they'll revisit in the future, because I think I don't want to say these guys aren't racing for the money and they're out there for the sponsors and stuff, and they all want to win. I get it, but put a little more skin in the game, make it worth a little more. I would really like to see it.
And it would really make people start to take it a lot more seriously too, because then it would get a lot more competitive. They do already, you're right, but like at the Clash, you wreck out of the Clash and you're like, oh, okay, that sucks. But if you wreck out of the Clash and you lose out the Clash and you lose out on a playoff point later on down the road, that's going to hurt a little more. Playoffs.
God, every time I hear the word playoff, I just can't help it.
Well, the commercial that's up there now is not necessarily helping that.
It's great.
Justin's getting his Daytona 500 winner bets put in already.
Hoping that this is the bet he's placed. Who have you bet on, Justin? Give us some names. I'm curious if you actually have placed those bets or if you're just saying that.
Well, he's such and he's also pumping you up a little bit, telling you you're such a good model. You think you need to get me that hat. See, flat brim though, you need to.
Oh, the flat brim's the way to go. I used to curl the hats. No, not anymore. The flat brim. Come on, it's 2024, Rod. Jesus.
I'm sorry if I'm stuck in the 90s, Cody. Please.
I haven't left the sticker thing drives me nuts, but I haven't taken it off. I literally just pulled it out of the box like 2 hours ago. So great.
Indeed. There's one more thing I wanted to ask you about. I know you got a couple of things too, as well, but I saw something on there earlier regarding Noah Gragson as far as his sponsors concerned.
Jim Harbaugh is going to the NFL, Rod. Holy shit. Sorry. Just came across the screen. Going to the Chargers. Oh, buddy. Okay. Anyways, keep talking. That was big news. So
that is big news, actually. But no. So I saw Noah Gragson and what was it? Rush is going to be his new sponsor for Daytona.
Yep.
Does that move the needle for you at all? I only bring it up because we were talking about, him being in that 10 car, and it's so weird to see him, first of all, in that 10 car, and then to see the new sponsors that he's going to be, because it's not Smithfield. Obviously, we know the 10 car is missing Smithfield. So it's a brand new sponsor for him. And yeah, it's just crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the few sponsors that's really stuck around SHR. They've lost a lot of sponsors this past season here with Kevin Harvick departing. I mean, a ton of them are going away. Sonny D obviously kind of stayed with them with Josh Berry, and now you got Rush. And Rush has been around. I want to say Stewart even had Rush on some of the 14 cars back in the day. I know Boyer had Rush for a long time as well. So they are one of the longtime sponsors. And we had news recently of Wendy's moving along to Trackhouse, whereas we thought maybe they would be one of the ones that came with Noah's. They'd been with him a couple of spots before, so interesting case and everything. That car, you saw what the car looks like, right, Rod?
Yeah,
it's
and
like
again,
gray.
Yeah,
I mean it's like, I don't know. Like the more I look at it, I actually sort of like it a little bit, just because it's so like basic. But doesn't it look like NASCAR Thunder 2004? Like you win your first sponsorship deal or whatever, and like it just literally like slaps 3 logos on the side of the car, and that's it. Like you can't do it, you can't design it or anything. Like, is that not what it looks like?
That's absolutely what it looks like. Oh my God.
So at first it was kind of like just like zero effort was put into this, and people are roasting them online. I mean, goodness. But I've seen it a couple more times pop back up, and I'm like, it actually, like, it's so basic and it's almost so boring that it kind of looks nice. I like it.
Now, and that's so, you're right. I kind of initially when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, okay, but you're right. It just really does, now that I look at it, look like when, and for me, it was like Mountain Dew. Like Mountain Dew was my sponsor, and it just looked like they slapped Mountain Dew logo on the car.
Like, you finished 5th place. You've been awarded a spot. I'm trying to remember which year of the thing it was, but it was like once you had so many good finishes, like, oh, you got like a 3-race sponsorship, and it was just like AutoZone or whatever it was, and like, yeah, just like slaps the sticker on there, boom, that's it. But oh well. So catching up in the chat, Ryan Helm says take the sticker off. I will take the sticker off. I promise. I'm not going to leave it on. Justin took Logano and Keselowski.
Ooh.
We have taught him something about racing, because those are both very good Speedway guys. Nick Fortune, shout out to Nick. He wants to know what the odds for Cole Trickle are to win the Daytona 500. As soon as we get them, we'll be covering them. Yeah, unfortunately, no Cole Trickle, I don't think. Old Fashioned Football wants to know if Lightning McQueen is racing. Hasn't announced yet, but we continue to find out more and more rides for the Daytona 500. So you never know.
So they did. So I know SHR did a great thing with the whole Talladega Nights thing.
Shake and bake with,
I would love for Rusty's to be a sponsor for any.
See, that's what sucks, is I don't think Rusty's is actually a real thing. That was like
it that way. It's 2024, Cody. There's
I mean, there's got to be some type of similar something, right? And they can have like a special Rusty's release or something. But it was great. I mean, Stuart Haas went all out on that last year. They got Wonder Bread to come back. They got everything to work out, which was great.
Yeah. All right. So Cody, what else do you have on tap for us today?
Some big news that just came out not too long ago. Hard Rock Bet has done a deal with Daytona for naming rights for its fan zone. Will offer in-race betting at the track. And then Bob Pockers, who tweeted this out, says, to me, this will be a test of the track Wi-Fi networks as it gets more common. But this is just so big for the gambling space in NASCAR. NASCAR is embracing it more. They've had the partnerships with MGM, with DraftKings. They continue to kind of expand on those things. And then now you're getting at track. I mean, it's beautiful. I was at Kansas spring race last year. I was making live bets. It's legal there. I was making live bets during the race. So you're watching the race. This car looks fast. This guy's in this situation. You're able to bet while you're at the track. It's a beautiful thing. It continues to become legal more and more places, as we know. And North Carolina's getting it now, so it's right in NASCAR's backyard. I'm really, really glad to see them continue to embrace it, and it feels like old NASCAR would have just done everything they could to push this away. New NASCAR that's being more progressive and that's really getting their feet out there more. They're continuing to go along. We've seen some, the MGM cars, we've seen the DraftKings cars, and everything. So I think this is another great step at Daytona. Obviously, that's one of the premier tracks of the series. And yeah, to have and NASCAR owns Daytona, I'm almost certain. So that's great as well. But yeah, have the fan zone named by Hard Rock Bet. And they've stepped up their game a little bit. They've got quite a few odds over on their book this year. So another great option for people to look at. But I thought that was really good news that came out just this evening, as far as just anything that continues to progress gambling with NASCAR. Obviously, we're all for it, and it'll continue to help things as we continue to go.
Yeah, and I think also all of this influx of being able to live bet, being able to, and DraftKings is actually working on a deal with NASCAR too, and which is why, with North Carolina being right there, so DraftKings is swooping in on that opportunity as well. But I think the more and more it gets into the announcers' normal conversations, and it won't feel so forced like it did this year. Where we've got Clint Boyer talking about betting, and it sounded like he's never ever talked about an odd in his life. He's just like,
see, I love some of the comments that some of the commentators make where it's like, oh man, there was one last year. It was just, I can't even remember what it was, but it was something like, he's favored to win this at 40 to 1, or his favorite odds to win this are 40 to 1 or something. And it's like, that's not, it's not a favorite. Or a long shot pick is going to be the third guy on the board. Like, that's not a long shot pick, but okay, great.
Like, good job, buddy. Way to go deep on that one. Way to pull that bag out of it.
Yeah. Nick Fortune says he could take some ad reading tips from you guys. I think he definitely means Rod specifically. I've done some ad reads in the past. It's never fun.
Yeah, no, definitely big news for that. I'm very excited about just the future of everything. And I know that for those OGs who have been in this, looking at you, Derek, looking at you, Phil, looking at all of you guys that have been toiling from the very beginning. I know our entrance was relatively not that long ago, but as this continues to grow, it's just crazy to think that, we are on the ground floor still of what could be a gigantic industry in the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's just, it's NASCAR gambling it's come a long ways already in these couple of years. It's got a long ways to go still, and so much potential for it. And I think it's just going to continue to grow. And again, I think it's great to see NASCAR, their tracks, embracing it, continuing to promote it. And it's just going to keep exploding. And as it becomes legal in more and more states, even a dumb state like Nebraska that I live in finally has a couple casinos you can go place bets at. We're getting there. It's baby steps, Rod, but we'll get there eventually.
Indeed. There's one thing I wanted to bring up as well, and I'm looking at obviously we're as we dig through, the stage lengths have been released for all of the series, for all of the races. And I bring this up for a very interesting point. And as we further along the NASCAR gambling, I guess, repertoire, I feel like playoff points would be a fantastic over-under on playoff points earned in a race would be a fantastic bet to take, right? I think it would be a very interesting sort of take, and maybe not necessarily just a straight over-under, maybe like I don't know. I don't know how it would play out in my head, but I was thinking about this as I was looking at the stage breaks on what kind of angle we could use this for, as far as, and then I thought, well, shit, KUTT bet exists. And if we wanted to, throw out some KUTT bets as far as how many playoff points a driver gets per race.
Speaking of KUTT, I've been actively chatting with the support over there, and we're working. They don't have any NASCAR stuff up yet, but I would imagine in the next week or so, we got some talking to do offline on that, Rod. They need some other input, but yeah, there's going to be NASCAR stuff on KUTT.
They
in the
want
very near future,
don't they? They want handicappers, don't they? They want.
Well, they just need. Yeah, they want a little direction, which we can help with. And yeah, they're excited to have it though, and then I'm so receptive, which is awesome. So if there's other sports who went out there, Sean said it multiple times. Reach out to him and he'll ask them and see what they can do. So there's some behind the scenes stuff they got to do, but there will be NASCAR things in the near future. So we're working on that, which is super awesome. But I don't remember where I was going with my point. Other than that, I just got so excited that we're going to have the KUTT bets in the future. But back to your point on, there's already been, some books started to dabble in, stage winners last year, later on towards the race. So it's going to be stuff that continues, I think, to infiltrate. And we've seen it. F1 is so advanced, I think, because it's been worldwide. And so there's just a bigger market as far as the world. And surprise, a lot of the world's more advanced than we are when it comes to betting on it. but it's I think that there is a lot of like untapped stuff that and props that we're going to get into. I mean, pit stop times, you get that in F1. That's something that NASCAR could have in the future, all sorts of things. So I think that's awesome. Nick mentioned Sean's Little Caesars ad reads. They are legendary if you listen to the Sports Gambling Podcast. And he says that KUTT not allowed in Iowa right now. Iowa, again, not a big fan of Iowa. They're horrible. Mostly their football team as a Nebraska fan here. But Iowa confuses me because gambling is legal, which is great. And that's awesome for you guys because I don't have that here. But then, like, you can't do Underdog. You can't do KUTT. You can't do any of these other things. Why? I don't understand why not, but whatever.
I think you got to pick your poison. That's the whole thing is not boom.
Yeah, be happy with what you got, I suppose.
Justin says, I think you're awesome. Boom, roasted. See, look at you. Look at you being all mean.
There we go.
Okay, so do you have anything else? Because I've one more as well.
Well, I've got like 100 stories, so whatever you just throw out what you want. I've got plenty of other things we can talk about.
Okay, well, the last thing I want to bring up beforehand is the schedule for the Busch Light Clash because it is out as well. And we haven't necessarily talked about the actual schedule.
We might need a whole episode on this next week, Rob.
You know what? You're right. You're right. We'll see.
A Busch Light Clash format breakdown. That might be one of them.
You know what? Good call.
I do think it's gonna be a lot to cover.
Yeah, you're right. I was just gonna highlight some of what was going on. I think you're right.
We can highlight it now and then follow up with it next week.
Okay, look. So the NASCAR Mexico Series takes the stage on Saturday for their practice qualifying.
Give us some NASCAR Mexico odds, please.
I know. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. And then, there's some heat races for the Cup Series, obviously, on Saturday. Sunday, you get the Mexico race, and then the last qualifying race, and then the Clash. So it's really just, again, it's Saturday and Sunday. It's so much crammed into one weekend. And look, if you're in the LA area, you got to go like that. There's no
especially
excuse.
Saturday. It's free.
Yeah. Saturday is free. You know what? Oh, I'm in the LA
area. Yeah, you're not in the area, but you should go.
Well, no, I'm going to be in the LA.
Oh, you're going to be? Oh, shit. Yeah, you got to go then.
Well, I mean, I don't know though. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'll have to talk through some stuff.
Nick wants to know if we'll be drinking Busch Light while we're talking about the Busch Light Clash. Absolutely not. I am contractually obligated to never drink Busch Light, nor would I want to drink a beer that tastes as bad as Busch Light. But I might have a nice cold Miller Lite while we're talking about the Busch Light Clash.
I love it. All right, Cody, we have time for 2 more stories. Pick your 2 favorite stories. And
let's update the open cars for the Daytona 500. Front Row has announced that they will have a third car. In much to my disappointment, Rod, this has been Riley Herbst last year, filled in this 36 car. It made us a lot of money on super speedways because he's really fucking good at them. But they're going to have Kaz Grala driving the 36 Ford as their third Front Row car. It just doesn't do much for me. That doesn't really excite me much. I don't know. I'm a bit disappointed with that, unfortunately. So now currently we've got 5 open cars announced for the 4 spots. Again, your 36, charter cars or chartered teams will be in. Then you got the 4 open spots to fill out the field. So only 4 of these current 5 will be added. But you've got Grala in the 36 now, David Reagan, who we're going to love to bet on in the 60 for RFK. Alfredo's in the 62. I kept referencing Austin Hill being in the 62 the other day, but I guess that's not the case. It is Anthony Alfredo that's going to be, which again, an odd thing. I don't know why you're not bringing Austin Hill being such a good plate guy. Why we've got Alfredo, but BJ McLeod in the 78. Again, he's no longer a car. He sold that charter to Spire. That's going to be that third Spire charter now. So he will be an open car. Plans on running a decent amount of races, I believe. I don't think he's going to run every one, but he will be attempting the 500 in that 78 car. The number 84 car, Jimmy Johnson. I feel like he's maybe won 1 or 2 of those in the past. A couple of other races, maybe like 83 in the Cup Series. He'll be entering in the 84 car, of course. And then, New York Racing is supposedly working on the Daytona 500 car. It'd be interesting to see maybe who would get into that. And then Bob Hockers had said he's not expecting the money team car, the Floyd Mayweather 50 car, to enter. Trackhouse colleague 2311 have entered in the past a third car, but he doesn't expect any of those to enter a third car this year either, which is, I don't know, I'd like to see 2311. I mean, the Pastrana thing was really cool last year. Man, if Kurt Busch, I wish Kurt Busch was I still don't know that he's cleared to race, but I hope that we can someday see him maybe get back in a 2311 car. But yeah, I don't know. The one thing I have heard, Rick Ware is not announced who will be in the 15. So that's where I'm really hoping that Riley Herbst will end up in that car for the Daytona 500, because in a Rick Ware car, he'll have really deep odds, which I would love to get in on a top 10 or top 5 for him potentially, because very, very good at super speedways.
Yeah, he is indeed. And listen, for Jimmy Johnson, there is a great video that Fox on NASCAR had put up about Jimmy explaining his schedule and why he's only doing 9 races, and why, the Chicago and the All-Star race are not 2 of them. So go listen to Jimmy explain himself as to why he's
check that out, because I haven't seen that.
Well, I mean, it's Jimmy, and I definitely I wanted to know why.
Rod saw it the second it was posted, of course, but I'm so pumped that he's going to be in this for the spring race. To see him at least one more time here in person is just going to be great, because, man, love that guy. Obviously, just got inducted into the Hall. We both believe the greatest driver in NASCAR history. So glad to see him back running some races this season. And then my one final story, I'm going to kind of lump 2 stories together, but NASCAR getting rid of non-competitive pit stops for the Truck Series. That's kind of a big thing, right? In the past, when the Cup Series, or when the Truck Series has not been in partnership with the Truck Series or with the Cup Series, they've been somewhere else. They do the non-live competitive stops, basically throw the red flag. They got 5 minutes to work on the cars, whatever. Not going to be the case now. Now you got to show up. You got to have a pit crew. This is going to be a massive advantage for the favorites. I will say that the top teams that are able to supply their own crews, that's going to be a big deal. It's really going to help guys like Corey Heim, who don't have, he'll be able to play strategy, and he'll be able to have faster pit stops and not have to worry about not being able to get track position on pit road, stuff like that. So if you've got a favorite that you bet on that gets, if Zane Smith heads to the back again, as he did so many times last year in the Truck Series, he'll actually be able to fight his way back up, not just on the track. So I think that's a good call. And it's funny because I've seen Jeff Gluck tweeted this. Scott Zipadelli was one of the first replies that said, "Hell yeah, brother." He is Corey Heim's crew chief this season. So I think he is definitely excited for that. It does help the bigger teams, I will say that. But they also made a move for Xfinity and Truck Series. They're moving to a 9-gallon dump fuel can for the fuel. So it's going to hold 2 gallons less than the current can. That might play into strategy a little more, which I like. But the teams also kind of requested this change. The option just allows more opportunity for different people to be the gas man, the gas woman, whatever the case is. Smaller people will be able to do, as Jeff Gluck put it, smaller, older, and weaker people will be able to be the gas man / woman instead of spending big money on the big pit crew athletes. So again, if you're going to have the non-competitive, or if you're not going to have the non-competitive pit stops, opening this up for someone else to be able to do it, make it a little bit easier. And then, it's going to, obviously shrink those windows, which I always enjoy, because it adds another element of strategy, adds another element of gamesmanship out there, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, it's do you wait and do you wait and do you wait or do you go? Like that's another thing as well. And as far as the non-competitive stops go, thank God. I was so that was probably the worst part of having to sit through those 5 minutes and just wait.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it was horrendous from a fan standpoint. They're not on the track and they're not doing anything. It's like,
they're just sitting there. And again, pit stops are such an important part of the racing and of the strategy, and it all plays into it. Again, it is a team sport, and the pit crew means just as much as the drivers do, because the driver does their job but the pit crew doesn't, then you get screwed. If the pit crew does their job but the driver doesn't, you get screwed. And same with the crew chief, same with the spotter. It all comes into play. So I like that. Again, the Cup Series only had that on the dirt. We don't have dirt this year, so not going to have that in the Cup Series at all. There'll be live pit stops everywhere, so that's good to see as well.
Yeah, and again, it was just, when at 5 minutes was such a long time. At 3 minutes, okay, like maybe, even 2 minutes, because listen, it's a 15-second pit stop for Xfinity, maybe like a 20-second pit stop at the most for trucks if you're really, really slow. Like, why 5 minutes? Like, I mean, is it for you to just sit there and make sure you get everything right? But
it's because they had literally like the truck driver was out there changing tire. Like they were not bringing pit crew people at all. They really did have like the administration people that are already at the track just going out and changing things. And so, Kevin S. again, another good point by him. Yeah, those 5 minutes always felt like 30. Great rule change. I agree. I know I was at the Knoxville truck race a few years ago when it was on the dirt. And again, if they have dirt races, nothing dirt this God. It makes me sad. Even the Truck Series doesn't have any dirt, which is unfortunate. I think they should add that back somewhere. Go back to Tony's track. Go find somewhere. Come on. But it was just that those 5 minutes were brutal because there's nothing going on. They're just sitting there. And so I think that's a good rule change, getting rid of that. Shrink the gas can, make it easier for the smaller teams and everyone, just in general. So kind of all works out well.
So what you're saying is I can go be a gas catch person.
They said smaller, older, weaker.
I hit all three, so I am good to go.
Check. You're signed up.
Cody, you're going to have to find a new co-host because I'm going to be out there being the gas can person for NASCAR crews. I love it. That's my new goal in life because I am small, I am old, and I am weak. That job description fits me to a T. Let's go. For those of you who have never seen me on YouTube, first of all, I don't know what you expected from this voice, because you know how sometimes when you listen to
your voice does make you sound big.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what you're expecting.
Forceful presence, but he's just a little tiny, frail old man.
I am a frail old guy. Like literally, if I stood up from this seat, you'd see me collapse. I have to have help every day.
That one show we had where it looked like his chair fell down, that was actually Rod just standing up.
You know what?
Shit.
You're funny, but you're right. That one day, that was hilarious. Too.
Was funny.
My foot kicked my chair thing. I love it. All right. Well, then I think it's time to go ahead and get on out of here and let everybody go. Obviously, we can have another news episode here shortly thereafter. I'm sure we got more to cover. Cody said he's got 15 different pages worth of stories. I didn't mean to cut him off after 15, but we'd be here for 2 hours.
We could be here for probably longer than that. I did want to plug Daytona 500 contest again, getting closer, obviously. This is in our pinned tweet over on the X. It's pinned on our Facebook page as well. It's in the Discord. I can repost it in there too. But very simple. All you got to do, go over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. You should be doing anyways. Again, if you're listening to this on the podcast, we do almost all of our shows live now. So you're able to join us live if you're over on the YouTube. You subscribe, take a screenshot of being subscribed, go click on the form, put in your name, your email, submit that picture. And then all you got to do is pick your winner for the Daytona 500. Talked about it 1,000 times. Anyone can win that race. You pick the guy you want to win, the guy you want to root for, the guy you're going to bet on, whatever the case is. $100 and a $100 merch gift card for the SGPN store. So you can get these beautiful hat and hoodie like I have, and any of the old-fashioned football stuff, whatever else from over in the store. Just the link is posted on all the places. Hit us up if you can't find it too. We'll help you out, but nice and easy, and can win you some money.
Listen, all of that gear is going to be clutch for you as well. Plus, you're going to be the sharpest dressed person at wherever you're at. I don't care what it is. You're going to be the sharpest dressed person out with all of your racing, gambling podcast stuff. And of course, as we both have, Cody and I, old fashioned fantasy football shirts as well. So gotta love us.
Shit, I think I have more stuff from their show than our show, which is, I don't know how that happened, but
yeah, but you know what though? That's okay, because you know, when you wear your own stuff, like we're not NASCAR drivers, we don't necessarily have to wear our own stuff, right? Like we can support everybody else. It's kind of kitschy when we do it ourselves. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and get on out of here for today. Let's come back tomorrow. We'll reconvene, talk some more NASCAR, and just have some more fun as we gear up toward the most important week that we've got going on. Race week, ladies and gentlemen. Next week is race week. So
we got 2 more shows left before it's race week, Rod. It's just a beautiful thing. I love it so much. You can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my work over there. Mentioned the Underdog pieces earlier. Those will be out later this weekend. A couple other things I'm working on for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Keeping me busy, so check all that stuff out. We appreciate it. Go enter the contest. And yeah, back tomorrow. Do it again.
Yes, sir. Follow me on X at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio to everything I got going on. There's some wrestling. There's some arena football. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
AFL show, check it out.
AFL show, check it out. It's coming soon. So yeah, tons of great stuff out there on X for you to consume. And we'll see you tomorrow with more of this show that you've come to know and love and support. So until then, everybody, let's go racing and let it ride.